Here we have the battleship Wisconsin, everybody. BB-9. Look at this. And BB-64. That is a ship, everybody. Look at that baby. Let's go visit it. Again, if you want to read this, just hit pause and you'll get a little knowledge about everything. And still more information for you. Everybody, this is the USS America, and it's probably one of our newer nuclear-powered battle aircraft carriers. 3,000, sometimes more, people live on this, and these kind of airplanes take off from it.
There's nothing else to compare to it. It's 887 feet 3 inches long. It's almost 3 football fields.
I was just amazed how big it was, and the first thing that came to my mind was that, hey, you're going to be the guy that's going to have to take this thing out of here. I wonder if it'll fit down the channel.
You took that ship out and you placed it on land on its keel. It'd be as tall as about a 16 or 17 story building.
The whole idea was that this ship was going to be involved in gun battles.
The Iowa-class battleships have 16-inch guns, the largest guns ever made in the United States naval warfare.
Every time you got fired, you could feel the shot in your chest, and you're just like, holy.
They load a 16-inch round into the breech first. That round can weigh as high as 2,700 pounds. That's as much as a Volkswagen. They ran that into the barrel, followed by 6 bags of powder. Those bags of powder weigh about 110 pounds each.
You hit a tank with a 1,000-pound shell. It's not going to be a tank. It's going to be a big hole.
As the USS Wisconsin slides down the waves today, the mighty United States fleet is written. Germany and Japan are one step nearer their ultimate destruction by the Allied nations.
I think when a Marine looks at a battleship, they understand that's a lifesaver. Okinawa, Iwo Jima, as bloody as those battles were, really got a lot of books about those battleships, knocking out a lot of pillboxes and bunkers. Those battleships saved Marines. They saved lives.
During the war, bombarding the Japanese mainland or fighting off kamikazes, it's kind of scary. It's kind of like just happy to get it done without being attacked and damaged.
When you look back at its incredible history, it's only really been hit once, and that was during the Korean conflict.
I was laying on the work bench, and the guy on the intercom sat down and said, "We just took a hit." I said, "No, you're kidding." But I didn't even feel anything. Later I could see how much damage it had done to it. Put a 4-foot hole in the deck there.
Didn't even slow down a bit. They immediately returned fire, took out the target, and they patched up the damage and went about their business, which is what the battleships did best. What you want to see is what we do in the Navy. And you work hard, long days when you're out there. But you know, coming home is always the sweetest sensation. I don't care if you're out at sea for 15 days or 6, 7, 8 months. Seeing your family on the pier will turn you into the most macho sailors in your mush pots.
The first time I walked aboard, I was lost for a couple of weeks. I knew where to eat. I knew where I slept.
We had camp quarters, and there were times when you had to fight for your share of the air.
Battleship Wisconsin is a city in itself.
You had your feet on the stand where you get ice cream. You had, well, just about anything you want.
you're on a ship that's at sea. Maybe 6 months. What are the different things that you can do on a ship to get the crew members' minds off on other things?
Just 2 hours ago, Allied air forces began an attack on military targets in Iraq and Kuwait.
It fired 8 of the initial 47 cruise missiles into Iraq that night in the first Gulf War.
Saddam Hussein started this cruel war against Kuwait. Tonight, the battle has been joined.
The Wisconsin's mission is not over yet. There are still more Tomahawk missiles aboard. The big 16-inch guns are at the ready.
If you're a Ford country, if you look out there and you see a silhouette of a battleship, you're heading inland. When the guys seen that little plane, a little spotter plane come flying over, they just start waving that white flag saying, no more, we don't want no more.
It's great to have a Wisconsin back home in Norfolk, Virginia. It's great to have the Wisconsin next to a museum like Nauticus.
When they went up in Philadelphia, there were about 8 of us standing on a pier up there, and the tears just came down the eyes. You see that beautiful lady, and you can't help yourself.
And when we come back to Norfolk, brings back good memories.
You know, the battleships are national icons. It's important that people understand that part of our past. I hope the public understands that having a strong Navy is important and that global presence is key to our society. Now that Wisconsin is here, in Norfolk, it's going to be up to all of us to help preserve her for future generations.
I would hope that a person who comes here is able to see this life, the pride, the ability to say, I'm a battleship sailor. It's never changed, and never will.
That's a bullet. That'd probably go about 20 miles when launched. As I mentioned earlier, about 3,000 people can live on these aircraft carriers.
And because the Iowa was far more accurate than the amount of another fun fact, the USS Indiana counterclockwise, you can travel up 3 levels on the yacht doors of the ship. You can also access the wardrobe.
Alrighty, so please, no eating, drinking, or chewing gum while on the ship, but you can drink water. Please no running, and while climbing up ladders, please maintain 3 points of contact. That's all. Enjoy the ship.
Thank you.
Yep.
There are people were going on to the battleship.
Real quick in front of the battleship.
No, it's okay.
Are you sure?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Maybe y'all went through the battleship. Yes, please.
Shaft, all the way to the back of the ship, driving an 18-foot screw. Yeah. The output of the thing is about 212,000 horsepower, which is 2,000 cars. We also generate, while we're doing all that, we generate 10 megawatts of electricity. The electricity primarily used in general, well, lights and whatnot, but also drives the turrets. Turrets are driven by electrical power. They're sitting on bearings, about 6 feet down there. And this turret is 2,200 tons. And interestingly enough, if the ship was to go on its side through combat or bad weather, real bad weather, the turrets will all fall out. Go to the side. Bad day to be a gunner. See you later, folks. Bye, Bob. Guess you won't be coming to lunch today. And the thinking being that the ship will right itself. So that's 7,000 tons of steel, basically, with 3 turrets. Wow. Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Now, when they turn sideways, how far would the ship be if they were in the fire? When the ship moving away?
Not that far. Not even an inch. There is an old tale that says that when we fire, the prime firing position is off the side for a ship. 30-degree angle for the ship's heading. The platform is the most stable in that position. You got the whole ship working for you rather than just part of it, whatever. So the thinking is that when we fire this way, the ship's going to move that way. So Isaac Newton, right? The reaction is a positive, negative reaction, or whatever. Not an inch. And the proof of that pudding is if you see pictures of the Wisconsin doing that overhead, the wing is straight. Now let's do the math. The ship is 887 feet long, and it's drawing 37 feet of water when we're in combat. 37 feet. So you've got a box now that's 887 times 37 feet. That's how much water you're going to have to push to have that thing move, if you will.
All that weight.
All that weight. And as amazing as it sounds, one broadside of the ship, when you add in the projectile weight and the gunpowder weight, is 12 tons. So as soon as we fire one broadside, we're 12 tons lighter. That 12 tons would be responsible basically to move a 55,000 ton ship through that much water. It doesn't move an inch. I read we had in some of our literature a physicist that some kid there did a graduate study and said maybe on ice you might move an inch. It doesn't. And another reason why that doesn't happen is it's recoil. It's a recoil weight. So it actually goes about that distance, that 4.5, where the black pin is. That gun will go back to the turret that much. And the firing angle typically is 45 degrees, so you're firing down. The recoil is down. But there's springs in there that absorb that blast too. So the ship doesn't move an inch. What you're seeing in those pictures is the tremendous concussion on the firing side of the ship. And you're just saying to yourself, wow, that much excitement's got it, but it doesn't. Now that doesn't mean if you're standing right here and this thing went off, you wouldn't have a bad day. You would really have a bad day.
Oh, it's really overpressure. Yeah. Make it sick.
These were not the loudest weapons, though. This was a loud boom, so to speak. But the 5-inch guns back there, the secondary batteries, were a loud crack, if you will. And they fired faster. More. These were designed to fire every 30 seconds. Those guys fired every 30 seconds. The 5-inches are about every 5 or 6 seconds. It's pretty much just time to get the casing out, throw it out the back door, if you will. And you can fire again. So that's me. Anyhow, that's the story so far.
When was they reload? When did we get another ship supply?
Well, we carried about 900 rounds on board. Woo! Yeah, and we fired 440 in the Gulf War, and they were all original bullets. Too, I might add. They opened up the top, 1937. Sitting there for 60 years waiting for their turn, and they got it. Okay, and so. But you did reload. You'll see over here hoists and whatnot. So the first was loading the hatches in the deck. Okay, and then you would basically hoist the bullets, the projectiles, if you will, and then lower them into the magazine below us.
Wow. Okay.
Here's another one.
Every 30 seconds they can be going.
Every 30 seconds. And there's a mechanism here. So, you get a name? I'm in the Army. God bless you, Army, right? So it's a rather complicated device, if you will, thing. And there's 77 men stationed in this structure. And it goes down, 4 or 5 decks, if you will, down below the ship. This is what you're seeing right here, the gun house. And so there's these are the ammunition containers, if you will, the gunpowder, which is at the bottom, down at the bottom. There's the shipping containers, storage containers. It takes 6 of these for one shot. One shot. Each one's 110 pounds of gunpowder, and they're like it's not loose gunpowder. There's like shotgun shells. They pack at range, if you will. And so bullets, the projectiles. There's one. Some rings. They're still upright. rotating rings, stationary rings and whatnot. So you and I are going to put a thing around the neck of this thing and toss it on its side, not on its side, but tip it, so to speak, onto that ring. And then the ring is going to take it right underneath a dumbwaiter type affair. And that the bullet's going to be put on its side, and then it's going to come up to a dumbwaiter into the gun house here. It's going to be rammed into the breech. It's going to be followed by 6 of these guys, which are also going to be rammed into the breech with rammers. And then the breech closed, and then when the signal goes out, the gun's ready for action, and then basically it's fired. It does not fire. It can be fired here, but it's fired by a position 4 decks below us. Literally, there's a guy down there with the trigger. Bang. And then the projectile is going to exit at 2,700 feet per second, off on its merry way, 23 miles downrange. These guys are going to be totally consumed by the explosion. There's nothing left. So there's no casing like your typical bullet now, with a brass casing or whatnot. Those guns back there, they had that. And so when those things would fire, you had to get that out and then throw them out the side, if you will. Mm-hmm. So they say that the South Pacific is littered with these brass casings all over the place from guns such as that. But we consumed this whole thing in the firing activity. Basically, then the gun would, 45 degree angle or so, that would come back down to 5 degrees. A compressed air would be blown through it, the tube, to clear anything out that didn't go out. And then it was reloaded. Wash, rinse, repeat every 30 seconds.
How far would they go?
23 nautical miles. We can hit North Carolina from here. We can go 10 miles. 26 land miles. The Navy has to do everything different. If you think of...
Okay, I hope you found that very interesting. I did. I had guessed 20 miles for the projectile, and it turns out it's 23 miles. So I wasn't too far off. And it's interesting that there's a whole incline here to walk to the bow of the ship. Everything's large. Everything. Look at the size of these chains here. Look at that. Something you can't wear around your neck. That's a lot of weight there. Here we go. Let's go up this thing here. Wow. That's a long way down. There she is, everybody. Well, when you see an open door, you walk through it, right? Let's see what happens. Get out of here. Oh, a mess quarter. I mean, someone's little cabin here. Lots of room. Must be someone important. A little workroom. Fire department. Fire department room here. This is the medical officers' quarters. Showers. One of the bathrooms. I guess we just wander around this place. You can't be too tall in this place. Oh. Executive officers' quarters. Ooh, off limits. That's nice.
Fred told me that these ships once held nuclear shells.
Yeah, they may have.
The captain, his room is one deck above us, one level above.
Oh, you said
so there's the executive officers right there, and the captain is one level up. He has his own little mess, his own stuff, and he shares his chef with the admiral. The admiral comes aboard. The admiral's on the port side cabin, and he's in the starboard cabin.
Is this the officer's mess?
This is the officer's mess.
over here we've got cameras around the ship, and you can see. Normally these spaces are open because with the COVID threat we can't take people there right now. But we've got the executive officer's cabin, the captain's cabin right there. The chief's mess is down below and aft, also known as the goat locker. And the chiefs had special food. They would throw in their own money and they would have special meals. They also had the only popcorn machine on the battleship. Before you had microwave popcorn, you actually had to use a popcorn machine. So the chiefs had that. The mess area for the enlisted guys is one deck below us and aft. In this mess, the officers' mess, during Desert Storm, about 70 officers ate their meals in here. Down on the mess decks below, you can see 330 at a time, and you have to turn over the dining room 3 times during the meal, so you feed upwards of 1,100 sailors down below. We also have some spaces we have dispersing. That was the bank. That's where you had cash. And there were ATM machines around the ship during Desert Storm. You've got the chapel, the ship's chapel, the dental clinic, the communications center. This is the plotting room. The plotting room is the ballistic computers for the guns, both the 16-inch guns and the 5-inch guns. These were analog and mechanical computers from the 1930s, and they were just as accurate as modern-day computers for coming up with your gunnery solution. So this was one of the plotting rooms. We've got the operating room here, the recovery board. This is the combat information center. That's where they fought the ship during World War II and during the Korean War. In Operation Desert Storm, they created something new called the Combat Engagement Center. And that's where you would control the Tomahawk cruise missiles, harpoons, the Sea Whiz, and a drone. They had a drone, one of the early versions of a drone, that spotted the rounds during Operation Desert Storm. Here's the serving line and the galley or kitchen for the enlisted mess. We got the laundry rooms. Down in the laundry rooms, they had 4 machines that could do 100 pounds of laundry at a time. And those machines were going all the time. And they had one machine, a special machine for the engineer, the coveralls that were being extra dirty and oily. The pressing room. Oh, least favorite place on board the ship, the brig. So if you got in trouble, that was the brig. You're going down to the jail. We have a barber shop for the enlisted guys, 4 chairs, a library, and the machine shop. On this ship, they had a huge machine shop. If you're out in the middle of the Pacific War during World War II and something breaks, you can't just go on Amazon.com and get a new part. You had to fix, create a part, fabricate a part, and that's where they would do it, in the machine shop. So this is basically like a little city at sea.
When was it retired?
This was retired on 30 September 1991 after Operation Desert Storm.
And it was commissioned?
It was commissioned for World War II on 16 April 1944. So it fought in World War II, the Korean War, and Operation Desert Storm.
It's got quite a history, huh?
Yep.
Has it been in any movies?
This has not been any movies. The Missouri was in the movie Battleship. The Alabama was in the movie Under Siege with Steven Seagal. I think that's about it.
And the carrier out from the American, that's our newest? USS American? The one
that's being built?
There's a little display out there with it.
Oh, that model is an older. That's the America, the last version of the America.
Oh.
So I think there might be a new one under construction.
It's nuclear. This isn't nuclear, though.
No. This was a diesel ship.
Did you serve on this?
Nope, I didn't the past 8 years, but no, decommissioned now. I got here in 1993, and it was already decommissioned 2 years when I got there. I think I've got to get on another watch station here.
Very good.
Nope.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
A giant ship is awakened after 30 years of sleep.
Watch
Critics complain that Wisconsin's recommissioning is a waste of money and question the usefulness and modern-day mission of a World War II-era vessel. But the world political landscape changes abruptly. August 1990. Iraq invades Kuwait, and the battleship is called to arms, dispatched to the Mideast. Ship's bosun, Tom Marshall.
From Norfolk to the Straits of Gibraltar, we made it in 4 days and 16 hours. And it was the first time in my life I ever got jet lag on a ship.
January 1991. Diplomatic efforts fail. Battleship Wisconsin coordinates the first strike of the war and launches Tomahawk cruise missiles into Baghdad.
Lots of stairs. This would be the signaling station for flags that they raise and communicate with the other guys.
These are the Tomahawk missiles, the land attack missiles, long range 650-mile Tomahawk missiles.
650 miles.
About 650 miles, yes, sir.
Wow. And when do they use them?
Well, they were used during Desert Storm.
Okay.
I mean, a few years ago when they had the chemical attacks being in Syria, they launched Tomahawk missiles from the ships that were over there. But these were used during Desert Storm.
Wow.
So you got 4 boxes here. Each would have 4 missiles in it. So you got 16, and on the other side as well, you got another 16 missiles.
And how much was one of those things cost? A Tomahawk?
Oh, they're at least probably about $1.5 million back in those days. Probably more now, I guess, yeah.
That's some expensive artillery.
Oh, yes, sir, sure is, yep.
And what will it take out? You know.
Well, it's for protecting land. Like I say, during Desert Storm, they launched the Tomahawk before the jets came in, knocked out all the anti-aircraft things, so we didn't lose any pilots.
Gotcha. And they're missile guided. I mean,
they're GPS guided. Yep, sure.
GPS guided. Wow. Tomahawks, baby. That is amazing. Hope you're enjoying the tour here. We're not giving you everything, but we're giving you some sights and sounds and some information. I would imagine these are barracks. Oh, look at the front of this. Wow. I mean the back of this. The back of the ship. The stern. And lots of aircraft. Or lots of ships in the distance there. And you know, I guess you must have noticed, it's all wood flooring. They would have missiles and those things there. The Atlantic Ocean. Quite a ship. And here we have another 4 Tomahawk missile launch devices, whatever you want to call them. $1.5 million back then, which would be a lot more today. And we have quite a military might. And there's more missiles, more guns, more firepower. That'd be a cool place to hang out right there. More Tomahawks right there. This can do some damage. And it did do some damage, I guess. Wonder why they have the radar, just for show, I guess. Semper Fidelis. 3,000 men working together to protect your country, our country. Okay, watch your step, everybody. I saw that picture earlier of the accident it had. Very steep stairs. And again, wood floors. I think we came to a dead end. Okay, that's what you call exploring. There's this would be probably a rescue boat. Found an escape route. Woo! I hope you enjoyed the tour. Do you like working here?
Oh, yes, sir. Sure.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Be here.
Thank you. And there is the crew of the USS Wisconsin. Wow. That is 3,000. Looks like mostly men. I don't see any women. There's the officers down below. A lot of officers. Damn, there's a lot of officers. Wow. Amazing. Hope you enjoyed the tour of the USS Wisconsin. Remember, if you want to pause, if I've shown you some things to read about. And thanks for tuning in. Remember to subscribe, like, and share. And definitely look at the one I shot earlier, the memorial for the POW-MIs. That was fantastic. And if you have a company that has a product or service, join ilovesos.org and offer discounts to veterans to thank them for our service to our country. Your company increases its business, it spreads patriotism, you earn customer loyalty, and it's a fantastic way to thank our veterans. It's ilovesos.org, everybody. Subscribe. Talk to you soon.
Overpopulated cities around the world have caused people to become a greedy, selfish, and litigious society. Would you like to be happier, live longer, never be forgotten, and help make the world a kinder, more civil place? It's actually easier than you think. Every day you're asked, how are you? Instead of saying good, say I am fantastic. It will make you look better, feel great, and reduce your stress. Making the world a better place starts with each person. Please join the Be Fantastic movement today. What you want to be, you can be. Be fantastic.